Philadelphia Eagles preseason finale is just a few days away, but week 1 of the regular season is what matters on the injury report. Many of the players that are injured are unlikely to play Thursday against the New York Jets, especially with 9 days remaining until the season opener. This week is basically a bye week for many Eagles players, especially the starters. Week 4 of the preseason is for players that are battling for the final spots on the 53-man roster. The main topic of conversation is Carson Wentz, which Doug Peterson won't open up any information about, only that Wentz hasn't been cleared for contact. The Eagles will name a starting quarterback Friday. He was always involved in 7-on-7s, and his arm, I've made comments that his arm was live and throwing some really nice throws and very strong, Peterson said. Then when he came back into the 11-on-11s, one of the noticeable changes again, or differences, was just his lower body strength and how well he's progressed through his rehab and conditioning. So those are things that I would say right now. He's physically probably stronger than, say, Nick Foles, or Joe Callahan, or even Christian Hackenberg, because those guys have been practicing and getting all the time. So I think it's realistic to say he's probably a little bit more conditioned at this point of camp than the other guys. It's no different than an offensive or defensive lineman that hasn't played a ton. They're a little healthier now than, say, a Jason Kelce or a Brandon Brooks, or a Fletcher Cox, is at this BG, Brandon Graham, who is getting a little more time. He's a little fresher than Fletcher is. It's just part of the rehab process. Here's the latest injury report after Tuesday's practice. The Eagles are sitting out Ajayi as the Eagles are giving him rest in order to get him prepared for Week 1. Ajayi has played in the first 2 Eagles preseason games, having 10 carries for 33 yards and 1 catch for 16 yards on 22 offensive snaps. He's doing well. Again, just rest, Peterson said. Just got a little lower body that we're trying to get him ready for the regular season. Ajayi missed his 6th straight practice Tuesday. He isn't expected to play against the Jets. Hollins did not return to practice Tuesday, and it's unlikely he plays Thursday against the Jets. According to NFL insider Adam Kaplan, Hollins had sports hernia surgery this offseason. Hollins' status for Week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons shouldn't be affected, but he is not at 100%. The Eagles have been giving Hollins the extra rest to recover. He's another one with a lower body injury. He's feeling good right now, Peterson said. The rest has really helped him, and I should expect him back going into the regular season. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Jeffery will miss the first 2 games of the season, but the Eagles will activate him to the 53-man roster this weekend with optimism he could be back by Week 3. Jeffery would return against the Indianapolis Colts on September 23rd. Well, first of all, he's doing well in this rehab. He's working every day. He's progressed up to about 75 throws a day and really doing a nice job with that, Peterson said. We are just going to continue to monitor him and we'll see where he is at next week and make a decision. Hopkins has 1 catch for 7 yards this preseason, but also is battling injuries of his own. He left the Week 2 preseason game against the Patriots with a head injury and has not returned to practice. Perkins would be the front-runner for that for tight end spot. He was out of practice Tuesday and his roster chances are looking dim. Perkins isn't expected to play Thursday. Rodgers did not practice Tuesday and won't play Thursday. Rodgers injured his knee in the Week 2 preseason loss to the New England Patriots, on the play where he caught a 17-yard touchdown pass from Nate Sudfeld. Rodgers left the game and did not return. The Eagles likely won't be seeing Rodgers play the rest of the preseason, as Rodgers has been dubbed week to week by Doug Peterson. When Peterson says week to week, the player is usually out a few weeks. The Eagles could go with an extra tight end for Week 1 because of Rodgers' injury. Rodgers was seen wearing a brace on his right leg, meaning he may be out for a bit. Jernigan is still on the active NFL list after getting back surgery in March. His status for the season opener is highly unlikely. He's rehabbing, said Eagles head coach Doug Peterson. he's around in the afternoons in meetings. He's at the walkthroughs. He's with his position. You don't see Tim out here as much based on we just don't want him getting banged around on accident or something like that. He's doing everything inside with the meetings, he's sticking around with his walkthroughs, and he's getting all the mental reps right now. The Eagles currently have Maragos on the active, physically unable to perform list, which they can leave him on until the knee is 100%. The active PUP allows the players who are unable to start training camp with the ability to sit until they are cleared by the medical staff. These players are eligible for the list because they haven't practiced yet. Once they are medically cleared, they're allowed to practice immediately. If Maragos does not practice during training camp, he's eligible for the reserve PUP regular season PUP list. If he goes on the reserve PUP list, Maragos would be out for the first 6 weeks of the season. This sounds like a realistic timetable at this juncture. Aguilar returned to the practice field Sunday after missing 5 consecutive practices, including all 3 preseason games, with a lower body injury. He also practiced Monday. The Eagles are preparing Aguilar for Week 1, which he's on track to play. Clement returned to Eagles practice Sunday after being out 2 weeks with a lower body injury. He missed 2 consecutive games but is expected to be back for the season opener. Doug Peterson said he was day-to-day last week, so bringing Clement back to practice wasn't a major surprise. He practiced Monday as well. Pumphrey has been out nearly 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. He was back on the practice field Sunday. Pumphrey admitted to Reuben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia that he was 100% heading into Thursday's Eagles preseason game against the Cleveland Browns, but Doug Peterson sat him out another week. He will play against the New York Jets in the 4th and final preseason game. Wheaton has finally returned to practice after a hamstring injury that kept him out the majority of camp. He practiced again on Monday. Wheaton has missed several weeks of practice due to the injury, which originally was the lower body injury that has kept him out for all of the preseason. Wheaton was the front-runner for the number 6 wide receiver spot before the injury, but hasn't practiced since the first week of camp. He's on track to play Thursday.